Hey guys, hi, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Steven. So I've been on this little journey for the past maybe 5-6 months, I guess, 4 or 5 months, since I had my teeth worked on. For maybe 2 weeks after I had that awful dentist visit, I really wasn't eating much. I really couldn't eat much comfortably. So I ended up losing a little bit of weight. And that little bit of weight, I've mentioned that in a video or two, that little bit of weight loss has kind of propelled me towards being more mindful about what I eat, when I eat, why I eat, honestly, and being honest, really, again, about what I eat and why I eat. That has pushed me even further into actually going to my gym, using my gym membership, using the hotel gyms, and just being more mindful of my physical fitness. And that has made an impact really on my mental fitness as well. It's been pretty wonderful. So I wanted to make this little video about maybe food and my life as a flight attendant, and some of what I do to actually stay fit. I know that as a new flight attendant, I was just doing my best to survive on almost no money, almost no sleep, no schedule, no plans. It was a very difficult time, and I ended up gaining some weight. It was sort of a surprise to me that I had gained so much weight in the first year or so. So let's talk a little bit about kind of food, meal prepping, that kind of thing. There's nothing going to be terribly specific. This is really about my general experience with food, my relationship with food right now, and also some of what I do to actually stay fit. I'm going to make a separate video at some point about sleep, because sleep is a big part of fitness and sanity as a flight attendant. And I guess this video will have to wait until I have figured out how to sleep properly. It's more difficult than you believe. All right, so I have some notes here to try and keep myself on track. So for me, again, when I was eating crazy, I really had no willpower in terms of what I chose and when I ate it. My problems are almost always with pastries. Pie, I love pie. Cake, cookies, little strudel bites I get at the grocery store, and ice cream. And these things, I would sit in my chair in front of my computer and I would just eat, mindlessly eat. I wasn't even hungry anymore, but I would just continue eating because I had it in front of me. It was just unreal. I look back at it and think, like, how did that even happen to me? So the first thing I did after I lost this initial weight was to look at those things that I can't eat safely. I just can't. And that's pies, cakes, and ice cream, and cookies. Sometimes I'm weak on cookies, but I buy small packages of them. We have a package of Oreos on the airplane that are 6 Oreos. That's plenty. I can eat a whole bag in one sitting, which is really unattractive. So my first job here was to inventory what I cannot eat safely, and that was those things. So then I started watching some YouTube videos about meal preps, food prep. Mostly it was they were being put out by people who were bodybuilders. Typically, flight attendants would also make their food prep videos, but there was less focus on terms of what they were putting in there and the health results and the health benefits of what they were eating. So I've been watching a lot of videos about bodybuilders putting together meal prep and food plans. Not that I'm a bodybuilder, clearly. That's not my goal at all. But general physical fitness, I wanted to put myself in that direction. So I watched those videos. There's lots of videos, there's lots of websites, and there's also a lot of Facebook groups to give you some direction in terms of food prep. So I've been food prepping more lately. In the past, it was more me running into Vons, the grocery store here in Las Vegas, and grabbing a bunch of frozen meals on sale. Now, and stuffing those in my bag, I'd put a bag of jelly beans, I'd boil some eggs, to pretend I had some fresh food in my bag, you know. I just bought crap. I put whatever fit in that bag that would make me not hungry. Pop-Tarts, really, Pop-Tarts. The chocolate ones, they're good. I would put whatever I had in the house that would make me full in my lunch bag. There was very little thought in terms of that. Sometimes the thought was cheap. I had to put something cheap in my bag because I was broke. And these little frozen meals were appropriate for that. But I have my little notepad here. So what I did, I got that, I mentioned it in a past video, Instant Pot. It's a pressure cooker. And I am freaking in love with this freaking device. It's amazing. I can throw, this is what I'm making now, because I typically, and I have to make it later on today to food prep for a 4-day trip. I can throw 4 frozen chicken breasts in that Instant Pot, a big giant can of black beans drained, a can of salsa. I know there's lots of carbohydrates and sugars, whatever. I'll throw a handful of mini little pasta shells, just a handful of them, some corn, a jalapeno I'll chop up, a little bit of tomato paste, whatever. I'll throw that in there and make like a chicken stew kind of thing. And I'll eat that, honestly, for a whole week. I'll make probably 5 or 6 containers of that. I'll put 2 or 3 of them in my lunch bag, maybe 3 of them. And the rest of them I'll eat the day before my trip, or I'll eat them the day after my trip, because I'm usually so wiped out after a 4-day trip that I really don't want to cook. I don't even want to put stuff in my Instant Pot. I just want to like just warm it up and eat. And so food prep, I go on a cycle where I'll make one thing that I really like a lot until I'm really tired of it. And then I'll move on. Eventually, I think I'll probably be better about making meals and then freezing them. So meal prep is vital. So I know what I'm eating. It's not like I'm going to run down to Pizza Hut or Taco Bell or Subway outside of my hotel room because I didn't bring enough food. And it's cheaper for me to eat like this, and it's much better for me in terms of the calories I eat and the amount I eat. What did I write about this? Oh, prep your snacks too. Definitely want to meal prep your snacks. So I made a list of snacks that are typically in my lunch bag now, and it usually starts with sliced apples. I don't know when I started to fall back in love with apples. With my dental issues over the years, the idea of biting into an apple terrified me because my teeth were just in apocalyptic conditions. But lately I've been slicing apples, and I've been eating them like all the time. It's like my latest snack food. I don't even eat potato chips anymore. I just rather eat an apple. So sliced apples, animal crackers, because I still like that carbohydrate crunch, you know. And I can eat 10 animal crackers and feel satisfied. Olives. I don't know why, but I love olives. My grandmother and I used to sit down and we would eat an entire can of black pitted olives together, just out of the can. Oh, so good. But I'll throw a handful of black olives or green olives in a Ziploc bag or a little mini container and eat those. And I'll tell you, you can't stuff your face with olives. Well, my grandmother and I would go through that whole can. But today I really can't gorge on olives, you know, so I'll eat 3, 4, 5 of them just to kind of get that snacking need out. If I'm snacking because I'm bored, which is often my problem, I'll just eat 4 or 5 of those little olives and I feel satisfied. Baby gherkins, those little baby pickles, same deal. I can't eat a pound of them, but I'll have enough to kind of satisfy that need for a moment. Baby carrots, I've been eating those little baby carrots a lot. I bought them because I put them in my smoothies that I eat. Oh, I should mention my smoothies. I will. I put them in my smoothies with some frozen fruit, some yogurt, and some ice water. And they've been great in my smoothies. And lately I've been throwing those in my lunch bag and snacking in those too. I don't need a dip. Hummus and all those artichoke dips and stuff I see people bring on the plane, I don't need dips to enjoy carrots because they're yummy by themselves. So for me, there's no need to throw in a couple hundred calories of stuff. I know, ironically enough, the next thing on my list is peanut butter and Nutella. I know, I'm ashamed. I won't eat dip on my carrots, but I will put peanut butter on my animal crackers or on my apple slices. Now, I justify the peanut butter and some of the Nutella because, you know, at 11:30 at night when I get in the hotel room, I'm not going to eat a whole meal. I'm not. So instead, I'm going to pull out those apple slices. I'm going to dip those in a little bit of peanut butter. Not a tablespoon, just enough. And maybe a little dollop of Nutella as well if I'm in the mood. And it satisfies me. It's a little bit of protein, a little bit of sugar, and it just feels yummy and happy and good. And so that's what I eat at nighttime. Mini candy bars. I know, I just told you I'm trying not to eat crap. But I'll literally take two, those little fun size, of my favorite candy bar. And my favorite candy bar, I'm not sure what they call it these days. It used to be called the $100,000 bar. It's basically all caramel and chocolate and Rice Krispies and fairy dust. Oh, they're so good. But I put two of those in my bag and I sort of eat them, I don't know, sometime during the trip, whenever I'm feeling the need for a little bit of extra something, you know. And I take hard-boiled eggs or these little egg bites. The egg bites, those little egg bites I think I put in my last lunch bag video, are delicious, but it's a cup and a half of cheese, heavy cream, 5 eggs, and while they're delicious, they are yummy. There's just a lot of stuff in there that I don't need to eat all the time. And I enjoy boiled eggs. I like hard-boiled eggs. A little bit of salt on that, some pepper, a little hot sauce sometimes if I'm in the mood. Fantastic. So I'll either bring hard-boiled eggs or some of those little mini egg bites. The last trip I went on, I brought probably 15 of those little egg bites, and I ate them all in the first 2 days. And that ended up being a lot of stuff that I didn't need to eat. So that's kind of food prep. Smoothies. Let me just mention smoothies for a moment. When I'm home, I eat smoothies. I make a smoothie. It usually involves an apple and a banana, or if I'm out of bananas, just an apple, with a good amount of yogurt for some protein. It's just plain Greek yogurt with a handful of frozen blueberries and a handful of strawberries or cherries or whatever I have around the house, some ice water, and a little bit of honey and ginger or whatever else I have in there, and a little dash of vanilla. And it's just delicious. And I don't know why I haven't had smoothies before. I had my first smoothie about 3 weeks ago. They're better than ice cream, and they have to be better for me. There's probably as many calories, but I love smoothies. So I'll eat, when I'm at home, I'll eat a smoothie for breakfast, and sometimes I'll have one for dinner if it's not too late, because my blender sounds like a truck, and I don't want my neighbors being woken up by this tremendous noise of my blender. But then I end up eating a fairly large meal in the middle of the day. Something I've either meal prepped, or once in a while, I don't do this often, I'll go to Jollibee that's nearby. If you don't know what Jollibee is, I'm so sorry, you're missing out. It's a Filipino fast food restaurant. I get their chicken strips. There's 3 chicken strips, and rice. There's a little bit of this mystery gravy that they put with it. And if I'm really feeling the need for something sweet, they have this little mango peach fried pie that is absolute heaven. It is heaven. So once in a while I hit Jollibee for lunch, but I usually make stuff at home. Eating at home is cheaper, it's better for me, blah, blah, blah. Does he ever stop talking? All right, so what else? Water. Now, I try to drink, when I'm working, I try to drink at least a bottle an hour. That's my goal, at least a bottle of water an hour. If I slip, I have at least 2 bottles a leg, each leg I work on, if it's not, you know, less than an hour. And I have this. Now I fill this bottle up out of my water filter here at home. And if I finish it, which is also a goal, by the time I get to the airport, I will fill it up either in a crew room water cooler, or there's always filtered water stations in the airport. Also at the hotel gyms, there's also often filtered water fountains, and I can fill this up. So I drink a lot of water. Keeps me full, keeps me hydrated. My skin looks better. I'm happier. I drink a lot of water. Of course, I have to pee all the time. TMI, but that probably comes into play in my future how to fall asleep as a flight attendant as well, because I'm always getting up to pee in the middle of the night. Let's see. Layovers. Let's see. Yes, I drink a lot of water in my layovers. I wrote a note down here. Buy a lunch bag. After all this meal prep, what are you going to put that food in, right? So as a flight attendant, you need to buy a lunch bag. You really do. A lunch cooler, crew cooler, whatever they call it. Fly with Stella calls it a lunch pail. You need to buy a lunch bag. I have another video, which I think is pretty good. It's also kind of long. I'm sorry. Comparing two very popular bags. One is the eBag Crew Cooler 2, and the other is the large Magecto lunch cooler. I use both of them depending on the trip I'm going on. So buy a lunch bag. It will pay for itself in the first 2 trips, I promise you. Invest. Although, what I like about the Crew Cooler and the Magecto bag, they're both under $50. To pay like $90 for a lunch bag, that's Travel Pro Strong Bags. There's a couple out there. Those people who love them, and that's great. I just don't have the money or the will to throw that much money at a lunch bag. Let's see. Eating on layovers. Okay, so I have in this trip coming up, this 4-day trip, I have a long layover in New Orleans. I have a 30-hour layover in New York City. And I think that's it for good long layovers. Well, I'll actually eat on my layovers. When I go to New Orleans, I'm not a big seafood person. I know, that's weird. I'm Portuguese and Italian, and I don't eat seafood. I know. So I'm not into crawfish or any of the alligator. I know it's not seafood, but it lives in the water. I don't eat any of that stuff. It's just not, no, sorry, thank you. So what I'm going to do in my layovers, I'm going to start by taking my little messenger bag with me, and I'm going to take some apple slices and some animal crackers or some olives, whatever, and my water bottle, and I'm going to snack if I have to while I'm walking everywhere. I'll nibble on some of those things. And when I want a taste of the local cuisine, I'll have a little bite. I'll stop off and have an appetizer or something. In New Orleans, the last trip I was there was actually last week. I had 3 beignets. I know, but they're little. They were small. They're also lemon filled. All right, I cheated. But I had a couple of beignets, and we stopped off for lunch, and I had a little nibble of something. I was very happy. I spend most of my time on my layovers walking and exploring whatever city I'm in. I really don't stop into any one city and think, ooh, I need food. Kansas City, I've had barbecue in Kansas City, and that's great. I can't say I was crazy about it. I'm just not really that into barbecue, I guess. But I spend most of my time walking around cities. I don't eat a lot on my layovers. Some of my coworkers, we have gone out to dinner, and I would think today, I would either think about just getting an appetizer, or I would think about seeing if someone wanted to split a meal with me. I don't eat a lot during layovers, but I do take my own snacks to stop me from grabbing a lot of crap. The only exception in New York City is I love a street falafel. I love a falafel off a cart or a truck in New York City. So I will be eating a falafel in New York. But I'll be walking like 10 miles, 20 miles, literally, when I'm in that on that layover. What else? Yes, so I've already mentioned that. All right, and now Ready Reserve and eating at the airport is so dangerous. In Las Vegas, if you go to Burger King, as I have, and you get a Whopper meal, it's $15. Yep. How much could you buy at the grocery store for 15 bucks, right? So when you're going to go on Ready Reserve and you have to sit at the airport for 6 hours, is it 5 hours? I don't even know anymore. Is it 5 or 6 hours? What a luxury to not have to remember that. When I have to go to the airport and sit there for hours and hours and hours, to bring your own food, pack your bags. You're going to have to. Pack your bags as if you're going on a 3 or 4 day trip. Pack your lunch bag as if you're going for a 3 or 4 day trip. If you don't go on that trip, you have all your food. You can eat all day and be, for cheap or free. But always pack your lunch bag for sitting Ready Reserve, because otherwise you'll find yourself wandering around the airport at Starbucks to get a coffee, and then there's that lemon loaf, that looks good, or that McDonald's, or in my airport we've got Wendy's, we have Popeyes, we have Wei Pei, which is like a fake Chinese food. We have all these restaurants, and they're so yummy, and they're so expensive. So save your money, save the calories, and just eat out of your lunch bag. All right, so I was going to talk a little bit about exercise, but this video is already way too long. So I'm going to end on 2 points. First, 2 things that I really can't live without these days. And the first one is my Hot Logic Mini. Oh, here it is. My apartment is that small that I can just reach over. It's sitting on top of my bed because I'm getting ready to start packing for a trip. But this is my Hot Logic Mini right here. And maybe I'll do a video about it specifically one day. But it zips open like a little lunch bag. It's insulated. And it has this little hot plate on the inside that you plug in. You put whatever meal, and almost, you'll be surprised how much fits in here. I have to clean this little thing. You plug it in. And if it's cold, maybe 40 minutes, 45 minutes later, you'll have a hot meal. If your food is frozen, it might take you an hour and a half or longer. But if you're going to take a nap, if you're going to go exploring the city, plug your Hot Logic Mini in, throw your food in there, go off, do your thing. And when you come back, you've got a hot meal. And it's hot very differently, in a very different way than the microwave. Out of a microwave, you know how food is hot in some spots, cold in the others, burnt and crispy on one side and almost raw on the other, and it's just a mess. And it just feels weird. Hot Logic Mini, it tastes like it just came out of the stove or off the oven. It's really fantastic. They're on average like 40 bucks, something like that on Amazon. I'm sure there's a coupon code for the regular website, but I think that the Hot Logic Mini is an invaluable investment as a flight attendant. It saved me from eating out again and again and again and again. Once in a while, I even use it here in Las Vegas. When it's super hot, I'll plug my Hot Logic Mini in, throw my food in there, and then so I'm not heating up my little studio. And the other thing, and it won't be a surprise because I've already mentioned it in a couple of videos, is my Instant Pot. I'm sure that pressure cooking has been around since like the 40s. But this one device has just made it so easy, so simple. You push a couple buttons, you walk away for 20 minutes, and it's done. The food is unbelievable. And like I said, well, I didn't say it, but part of the problem for me with food prep is the preparation time for the food, the amount of time it takes to cook the food, and then whatever. But like I said earlier, I think I said it, you can throw 4 or 5 frozen chicken breasts in this darn thing. Throw a whole frozen chicken in this thing. A cup of water, whatever seasonings, close it up, bink, push a button, 25 minutes later, 40 minutes later. This chicken is fall apart tender. You can get a fork and just kind of break it apart into pieces. Throw a little barbecue if you're into barbecue, or hot sauce, whatever, salsa on that chicken. Throw it in a container, and most of your food prep is done. It's so brilliant. Oh my God, I love it. I use it for almost everything. I haven't touched my stove in, I don't know, a couple weeks. So this video is, I don't even know how long this video is. I'm looking at the clock. So I've been chatting a lot, but this whole video is really about, for me, learning how to be more mindful about what I've been eating, how much I eat, and why I eat. So I haven't addressed that at all, have I? So, and the one last point is I eat frequently out of boredom and isolation and loneliness. If I'm by myself and alone, I'm much more likely to sit in my hotel room on a layover and eat a bag of chips or whatever I have while I sit watching the TV or Netflix or YouTube. So in those cases and in those times, if I have the time to sit in front of the TV and eat out of boredom, I try my best to get myself up out of bed, put on my gym clothes, which are always in my bag, and go down to the hotel gym. Or if I don't have a hotel gym, the hotel is typically located in a place that's relatively safe, so I'm going to go for a nice long walk. I don't run anywhere. I don't run. I got one lung. I'm not running anywhere. But if I have the time to sit and watch TV and eat, I have the time to go down to the gym or go for a walk or do something. That's just what I've been doing lately, and it's been working out. The thumbnail for this video, I'm going to explain that. I keep talking. I'm sorry. The thumbnail for this video is a selfie that I took yesterday at the gym because I was amazed at what I looked like in the course of just a couple weeks or maybe a month, 2 months of mindful eating, being mindful about some exercise. And I'm going to do a separate video about exercise as a flight attendant. It won't be this long. With these things in play, I'm getting the body I've wanted for years, and I'm turning 50 next year. So like it's like the perfect time to be mindful about my food, mindful about my movement, my exercise, and my intent on caring for myself. So I have talked for long enough. I do apologize. If you've watched this whole video, God bless you, I swear. I'm going to make a video about my mental health lately and what I've been doing to bring myself and be more positive and optimistic. And I also do want to do a video about my exercise and what I do to stay fit. And I also eventually want to make that video about my recovery and what it was like, what happened, and what my life is like now that I don't drink or do drugs or that kind of stuff. All right. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye.